Artificial intelligence has been used for the past few decades to create legal briefs, to manage medical records, and predict weather. If you've used your face to unlock your phone, engaged with a chatbot, asked Siri or Alexa to turn on the lights in your home, then you've used AI. AI is not new, but what is new are some of the tools, and that's what we are going to share today. We're going to talk about 7 new things you can do with AI, those ethics and risks that come along with it, and how to mitigate those risks. This is an update from a previous presentation a couple of years ago, and to watch that one, stay tuned until the end. So here you go. Here are some new things you can do with AI. You can use artificial intelligence to present slides, to summarize data for you. You can use AI to generate media, to create graphics, and even translate languages. AI can be your voice, it can narrate audio for you, and it can create videos.
AI can help you create presentations. Today, you don't even need to jot down notes to create a complete presentation. With tools like Beautiful AI, you can generate a professional slide deck within minutes just by typing a single sentence. Have you ever needed to build a presentation quickly with limited time and resources? Beautiful AI is a program that can create PowerPoint presentations from scratch. All you need to do is enter a one-sentence prompt, such as, how to use AI safely at the University of California in a risk summit presentation. Once you click generate, in minutes you will have a complete presentation with an outline, slides, graphics, and branding. As you can see here, it added UC branding with images of UCLA. Each slide is customizable. You can change the colors, graphics, text, and images to meet your needs. When ready, you can share the presentation by making it public. And your presentation is ready to go. Enter one sentence and you can have a complete presentation full of original graphics and information within minutes. All you have to do is type a single sentence and Beautiful AI will generate a complete presentation with text, original images, and custom artwork. It's free to use and you can easily tailor the slides to fit your needs. Edit the content, adjust the design, and export a polished presentation in minutes. Other AI-powered presentation tools worth exploring include Slides.ai, Tome, and Beautiful AI. Each offers unique features, so take some time to try them out and see which free option best fits your workflow and presentation style.
AI is also a strong tool for creating summaries. Generative AI or Gen AI uses large language models to condense text, to identify key points, and provide concise summaries, often in a more human-like manner. ChatGPT is probably the best well-known of them so far because it provided one of the best, most simplest responses to complex questions, but it's not the only AI out there. UCLA Health is one of the many University of California locations using AI to help dictate clinician notes. So instead of sitting behind a computer, clinicians are now able to talk to their patients while an AI listens and creates medical documentation or ambient documentation around them. We collect a staggering amount of data when most of the time we have questions like, what is this data telling me? Or in this case, what is happening with this patient?
Can artificial intelligence summarize for us? In this case, I'm going to enter the text, act as an expert clinician. Convert this into a one-liner. And I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the patient's history and even the text from his electrocardiogram and see what it does. When I hit enter, what it does is tells me a 69-year-old male with a history of chronic kidney disease and diabetes presents with dizziness and syncope. His ECG shows abnormalities suggesting possible myocardial infarction.
So the individual was having a heart attack, and the AI was able to summarize 20 plus years of data and recent medical test history to provide that information in a timely manner. So what you saw us do is we gave the AI a role, some instructions, and an input. It's sort of this prompt pattern that you can use. The example of the role is that we asked it to act as an expert clinician and convert all this data into a one-liner so we can hand off between different teams. And the input was just copy and pasting of all that data in a very secure manner. So you can use artificial intelligence by copying your patient history, and ChatGPT and other tools can summarize it into a summary. So prompt engineering is probably one of the most fastest growing types of positions out there. And what it is just a way for you to write information into the system and get back information in a certain format in a desired way. So for example, you can have it write in a tone, consult as if you're talking to a professional, or have it explain something to you in a simpler manner. For example, if you wanted to write in the tone, like write this document into the tone of somebody else, you can do that, such as write this email in the tone of Christopher Walken. So it can sound really cool and have some of those cadences. You can consult. You can have somebody criticize this document as if they were like a lawyer or reviewing it for policy reasons. The most recent example I like to see was when somebody uploaded journals, articles from their professors, and they practiced doing a mock thesis defense, dissertation defense, as if she could speak in front of the committee, but it was the AI sort of playing that role of that committee. Or you can ask the AI to explain. So explain to me this topic as if I was a certain age, such as explain to me workers' compensation rates as if I was in 10th grade, because that's the age in which I am, to be able to understand new information.
And while ChatGPT is a popular choice, it's just one of many powerful AI tools available. Alternatives like Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, Perplexity, and Claude offer each unique capabilities. So don't limit yourself, explore different platforms to see which works best for you.
Sometimes the summaries you need are of data, but designing graphics into a spreadsheet or learning how to use Tableau or Power BI, that can be tedious. You can use ChatGPT, but it doesn't easily let you edit those graphics, as you see in this example. If you have collected a lot of data and you need to summarize it for others in a simple way, check out the AI tools that are known for data visualizations.
Flourish lets you use AI to create your own graphics. You can either start with a template or upload your own data set. Here I'm uploading my own spreadsheet, and it gives me different versions of the graphics to choose from. Immediately it analyzes it and provides different visualization options for me to use. I can customize any of the graphics, and when I'm ready, I can use the dashboard to filter data so that my story can be told better.
Flourish Studio AI is a part of the Canva family. Canva. So this is great because the University of California has a partnership with Canva, and those system-wide agreements can help protect our data. So yeah, upload your spreadsheet, and Flourish Studio AI can summarize and create extraordinary visual data visualizations.
You can also create media with AI. So we've talked a little bit about ChatGPT, and you've heard that in other sessions, what it uses and pulls information from either a prompt or a website. But what if you wanted to create something with your own documentations, your own policies, your own one-sheets? Well, there's a tool for that. Notebook LM is from Google. It's free to use, and it's really fun. So with Notebook LM, you can upload a document to create a podcast, quizzes, study guides, and more. So let's take a look at what it can do.
Let's use Notebook LM to create a podcast. Today, we'll be using the Heat Illness Prevention Tailgate Water, Rest, Shade. To begin, log in at notebooklm.google.com. Select the sources, and you can drop in a file. For example, we'll be using the PDF I just showed you, but you can select multiple sources to pull from. Once you've dropped in your source, the AI will give you a summary. From there, you can use the prompt to give it more information. For example, we're going to ask it to identify key elements an individual can do to prevent heat illness. From there, I'm going to drill down and ask it to create a podcast. I'm also going to give it a time restriction of, say, about 2 minutes long. The AI will then generate a script that I can use to create a podcast with my own actors. But let's say I'm not really interested in that, and maybe all I really want is for a quiz. You can use the study guide section in the studios to create a quiz questions, essay questions, and a glossary of key terms, all derived from your source documents. Okay, let's go back to the podcast idea. Let's say you really do want a podcast, but not with your own voice. Well, you can use the studio section in the right-hand corner to create a customized audio overview. Simply hit customize and tell the AI what you want it to focus on. In this case, we're going to stick with we want the focus on the actions an individual can take to prevent heat illness, and we want to keep the podcast length to about 3 minutes. Let's see what it can do. It's going to generate your audio overview, and it's going to do it in a matter of seconds. While you're waiting for it to create your file, go ahead and jump to the bottom and make sure you save your work. You can save it to your notes in this Notebook LM system, or you can copy and paste it and keep it in a Word document if that works for you. There's a lot of different ways to save your work, but this is an important step because if you don't, when you come back to your project, it may not be there next time. All right, your file is ready. Let's download it and take a listen.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, with temperatures definitely on the rise, we're tackling something really important: how you can prevent heat illness.
Yeah, it's crucial stuff.
We've gone through safety guidelines, trying to cut through all the noise and just give you straightforward, actionable tips, things you can actually use to stay safe when it's hot out there.
Exactly. And the core of it all really boils down to this simple idea: water, rest, shade.
Okay, how cool was that? So what are you going to do with your recorded podcast? Well, what we did was we created a Spotify playlist and our own podcast where we're hosting all of these sessions. It's really easy to use and it's free for creators, so check it out at creators.spotify.com. You can upload your information, give it an episode title and description, and publish it. If you would like to hear the full podcast for preventing heat illness, join us on Spotify at Safety's in Session. Now, go create your own.
You'll notice the AI created the ums, the ahs, how human it sounded, all by a simple prompt. So with Notebook LM, you can use your university email to log in. It's a free Google tool. By utilizing your university email, it keeps it in its closed system, which is also a really great way to protect our data. You can create your podcast, study guides, quizzes, scripts, so much more, and try to host your own podcast on Spotify for free.
In the world of risk management and compliance, you all will often have to communicate complex and technical information. Claude AI can help you simplify and enhance that content by turning it into interactive tools like quizzes, checklists, and visual dashboards. These outputs are called artifacts, and they make the information not only easier to understand, but actually more engaging for your audience. So let's take a look at how Claude can help transform your message into something people will remember and act on.
Have you ever had a great idea for a presentation or a project, but you're not sure how to bring it to life? Well, now you can with Claude AI. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to use Claude to create web apps. Start by navigating to claude.ai and creating a free account. You can adjust your profile settings so Claude works the way that you like. For example, you can ask Claude to keep explanations brief or have it ask you clarifying questions before responding. Next, make sure you have your artifacts turned on. This is how you'll be able to create and preview code, text, or web apps directly within Claude. Now you're ready to enter your prompt. So let's just say you're preparing for an emergency management presentation, and at the last minute, your supervisor wants you to add a quiz. The only catch? Don't make it boring. Here's how Claude AI can help. You can A, ask Claude to build a quiz based on what it already knows about emergency management, or you can B, upload your source materials and ask Claude to build a quiz from the uploaded content. And so your prompt might look something like this. Here, I'm asking Claude to create a Jeopardy-style emergency management quiz based on the uploaded PDF. I also want it to allow for a 2-team gameplay, so 2 players, and I want it to use the following color palette. Finally, I'm asking Claude to use the categories for disaster types, FEMA, emergency response, first aid, and emergency planning. A good prompt will always include the end result, the context or details that you like to include, and the format. So in this case, the format is the Jeopardy-styled quiz. Press enter, and Claude will start building your web app. Because you turned your artifacts on, you can preview, test, and even get a shareable link instantly. Want to share your web app outside of Claude? You can download and host it on a platform, or you can publish it to receive a shareable URL link. Publishing your artifact does make it discoverable for others to see and use, so if you're okay with that, then you can proceed with publishing. And you're done. So what does the final product look like? It's a fully functioning Jeopardy-style quiz that you can use to test your participants at the end of your presentation. This tool is a game changer. I've used Claude to help me create several artifacts to help with generic projects. This includes Gantt charts for project management, interactive checklists and training dashboards, accessible bar graphs and chart interactions for e-learning projects, and many, many more. The sky is truly the limit.
So as you just saw, Claude AI makes it very easy to bring your ideas to life. And the best part is you don't need to know how to code. Now that you've seen what Claude AI can do, it's your turn to try it out. You can enter a prompt, upload your source material, and Claude will build web apps for you. The possibilities really are endless.
You can also harness the power of Claude AI to make your documents more accessible. For example, I uploaded a UC policy PDF that hadn't been fully remediated and asked Claude to make this PDF accessible using HTML tags and elements. The results were surprisingly pretty good. When I converted the HTML back into a PDF, many of the accessibility tags remained intact. You can continue refining the output by training the AI to catch specific issues. And don't forget to run Adobe's built-in accessibility checker to make final adjustments and ensure everything's properly tagged.
AI can also help you draw. Have you ever wanted to create engaging graphics to match your presentation content? Well, Napkin AI is an AI-powered tool that can transform plain text into engaging, easy-to-understand visuals. Whether you're explaining complex topics or reporting on metrics or just telling a story, Napkin AI makes it easy to generate diagrams, flowcharts, and more just based on the text that you give it. So let's try making a quick graphic.
First, create a new napkin document. You can draft a document with Napkin's AI, import an original file, or begin with a blank napkin online. Let's import a Word document file. Once the document is uploaded, you can make edits to the content in Napkin without altering the original document. You can add, remove, rearrange, and format the text however you like. Highlight the section that you would like Napkin AI to use as a source for your image. Then, select the blue lightning bolt or the Generate Visual button to the left of that section, and Napkin will start generating some potential images for you. Select the design that you feel best represents your content. There are many to choose from, but rest assured, you can customize them and even come back to it if you change your mind. After selecting a design, you can customize it further by selecting a style to enhance its appearance. After selecting your design and style, feel free to make edits to the text, outlines, and coloring of the visual by selecting any element and choosing options from the customization bar above. When you are satisfied with the look of your graphic, select the downward arrow in the upper right-hand corner to export it as a PNG, vector image, PowerPoint slide, or even PDF. You can download the graphic or simply copy it to your clipboard and paste it into the document of your choosing. And there you have it, a stunning graphic with the help of Napkin AI.
So, whether you're looking for specially tailored infographics, customized icons, or engaging diagrams, Napkin AI makes illustrating the core ideas and concepts of your text that much easier. And it's free. Just paste an outline, choose a format, and it will generate stunning graphics for you to use wherever you need them.
AI can also help you communicate in different languages. Translating materials into multiple languages is a powerful way to improve accessibility and reach a wider audience. Tools like DeepL make this fast and easy, delivering high-quality translations in seconds.
You might be familiar with something like this in Google Translate, where you write out the words on the left, and on the right-hand side, it'll translate it for you into any language that you drop down from the list. But it doesn't just do that by you typing. And so here's an example where I can select from my computer any document, whether it's PDF or a Word version or a PowerPoint. And after I drag and drop, it'll upload, and then it'll ask me, well, what language do you want me to translate it into? And if I choose, for example, Spanish or Russian or Italian, no matter what language, it'll translate it in the matter of seconds. It'll ask me, where do you want to save it? And I tell it where I put it. And look at what it does. It translated my entire document. That's an example. This is a real life example of it translating into Russian. And not only did it translate it, but it used the special characters of that language. And if you notice, it also kept the formatting.
DeepL makes translation incredibly easy. Just upload your file, choose a language, and it handles the rest, even keeping the original formatting intact. We have used this to translate handouts, training materials, and last-minute documents in no time.
Need a voice? AI can help you. One of the most effective ways that we can enhance the content we produce is by adding audio narration. So audio narration has the potential to better engage our audience, as well as leverage accessibility for all learners, but particularly those with disabilities and varying language needs. So I want you to think about the materials that you produce, the videos you record, or even the training materials that you create. How might you leverage audio narration to make these projects more effective? An easy and free avenue for doing this is by using 11 Labs. So 11 Labs uses artificial intelligence to develop professional sounding audio narration in mere seconds. Here's a brief tutorial to walk you through this.
Have you ever wanted to add audio narration to your digital content? Maybe you don't have time to record and edit a narrator's voice, or maybe you would like to use a more professional sounding voice to raise your project's production value. Well, there's an AI tool for that, 11 Labs. Using audio narration can enhance presentation slides, videos that you record, and of course, training materials such as e-learning courses that you develop. I'm going to walk you through 4 powerful features that you can access as a free subscriber of 11 Labs. First, develop text-to-speech narration. After selecting text-to-speech under Playground, copy and paste your text or script into the box. From there, you can select the narrator's voice you would like to use. Feel free to trial the different characters.
You got to be careful if you don't know where you're going because you might not get there.
I think this is a really nice way to just talk naturally together.
Afterwards, make modifications to the voice, including its speed and stability. Finally, select Generate in order to preview and download your sound.
Have you ever wanted to add audio narration to your digital content? Maybe you don't have time to record and edit a narrator's voice, or maybe you would like to use a more professional sounding voice to raise your project's production value. Well, there's an AI tool for that, 11 Labs.
Need to deliver your material in multiple languages? Simply translate your text in another platform, like ChatGPT or DeepL. Then, paste your translated content into the text box back in 11 Labs. You can then generate text-to-speech in an alternate language.
¿Alguna vez has querido añadir narración de audio a tu contenido digital? Quizás no tengas tiempo para grabar y editar la voz de un narrador, o quizás te gustaría utilizar una voz más profesional para aumentar el valor de producción de tus proyectos. Pues bien, existe una herramienta de inteligencia artificial para ello, 11 Labs.
Next, navigate to Voice Changer to alter your own voice. Simply upload a recording of your voice or record your voice directly within 11 Labs. Hello, this is me trialing my voice for the use of 11 Labs.
Hello, this is me trialing my voice for the use of 11 Labs.
You can then adjust your voice to your liking, including age, gender, and accent before downloading the file. You have the ability to describe the kind of voice that you would like to design. Consider the context of your project and audience preferences as you use adjectives to build a specific narration style. Thereafter, this voice will be available to use as a built-in narrator within 11 Labs.
The night air carried whispers of betrayal, thick as London fog.
Finally, you can use the sound effects feature to design specific sound effects to embed within your project. Describe the kind of effect that you would like to develop. After generating, 11 Labs will give you 4 variations of the sound effect to select from. As you can see, 11 Labs offers a number of different ways that you can produce sounds and audio content to make your projects more impactful. Sign up today, it's free. Simply enter text, choose a voice, and 11 Labs will create audio for you.
And finally, you can be a video creator with AI. Today, AI powers some of the best animated, explainer, and avatar videos. You used to need special computer, software, and skills to produce videos.
But now I'm going to go to Steve AI, and I have the script I pre-wrote, so I'm going to just select and copy this script. And once I get those words, I'll go to Steve AI, I'll click on text to video, and I'm telling it I want an animated video. And then I just go into and paste that script that I pre-wrote. I might edit it, but when I click on next, it'll analyze my words. It'll ask me, what template do I want to use? Well, maybe I want to use this one in the middle. And it'll generate an entire animated video based on my script. It'll create scenes with people that I can go ahead and change out into another character. I can give them different clothes. I can make them do different activities. I can go ahead and give it a voiceover and music. So listen to this.
Sometimes disability checks just aren't enough. Did you know that there is a way to get back to work at full pay, even while you're healing? If your doctor prescribes modified or light duty, your supervisor work with your restrictions and possibly provide a temporary position for you elsewhere on campus.
Just add your script and Steve AI will turn it into a high-quality animated or cinematic video in minutes. No editing skills required.
What if all you had were images, but you wanted to make an animated GIF or even a video?
So vidu.com lets you upload multiple images and animate them. Once uploaded, you can describe what you want to see or how you want your image animated. In this example, I've uploaded a 10-year-old photo of a laboratory worker. On the left-hand side, I gave it the simple prompt of mix the pink liquid and put it onto the counter. And here's what it generated for me. This is a new video showing the laboratory worker mixing the liquid in her hands and putting it onto a new counter in the foreground. You can select multiple images and Vidu will animate them together into one. In this example, I'm simply uploading 2 more photos into the system. One is a blue liquid and in a flask, and another is a laboratory table. On the left-hand side, I added a prompt that says, pour the liquid into the blue liquid in the flask, mix, and then place onto the table, and make sure to show the laboratory worker's face at all times. From that photo, it created this new video. Notice the laboratory worker is animated, now has a half body. There is another arm and glove in the scene, and she's pouring the liquid from the original photo into a flask with a blue liquid from a new photo.
So Vidu.com, you can upload your graphics, describe the actions you wanted to take, and Vidu will create animated images that you can turn into a video. What if all you wanted, though, was a simple explanation in a visual format? Check out Imagine Explainers, which helps you use videos to simplify and educate yourself or somebody else.
To create a quick explainer video, just enter a prompt. In this example, I'm going to enter how to lower workers' compensation costs at the University of California. I click on Create Video and it begins to generate something completely from scratch.
Workers' compensation at the University of California is a comprehensive system that protects both employees and the institution. These key strategies form a comprehensive approach to workplace safety. There are 3 key cost drivers for workers' compensation at UC. First, laboratory injuries, including chemical exposure and equipment accidents.
If I or somebody else wants to learn more about the video, there's a prompt on the right where we can ask you questions. I'm asking, what are 3 main strategies to reducing injuries? And it summarized the video for me. And if for whatever reason I'm unhappy with the video, I can click on the regenerate icon and it'll create a brand new version.
Understanding workers' compensation at the University of California. The University of California operates as a self-insured system for workers' compensation, meaning costs directly impact university budgets. Workers' compensation rates at UC are determined by several factors. Establish ergonomic assessments for office workers, focusing on proper workstation setup. Create a robust return-to-work program that helps injured employees transition back with modified duties.
Right away, we see that the tool re-scripted the video. It even pulled in insider knowledge about us being self-insured. It provided annual expenditure data from our websites, focused on strategies to reduce workers' comp rates, and talked about return to work or our Work Strong program.
In a handful of minutes, you can have an explainer video for either helping you learn about something or for teaching something to others. So just enter a topic and Imagine Explainers will create a tutorial video with original text and graphics and a voiceover. Finally, what if you wanted to create a video of you or somebody else teaching something, but you don't have the tools to do a professional recording? Well, there are AI tools out there that can create a talking head or an avatar. Humva, H-U-M-V-A, Humva, is one of those really impressive AI tools.
Did you know if you go to this website, you can create an avatar either by choosing one or making one of your own? You can make one of your own by dragging and dropping a photo. Once it's ready, you can either choose a voice it gives you or upload your own voice. It'll create an avatar for you based on your photo and your voice. There are a variety of backgrounds you can choose from, and it will use that photo to speak any script that you want. All you have to do is enter a script, which you can even get translated into another language using a separate AI, and you can export your video. You can even export different versions of your video.
So here's an example of how an AI tool like Humva can help you or me speak in different languages.
In this educational session, you'll learn how cool Janette is.
She uses artificial intelligence to speak in different languages.
First, in Spanish. En español, Janette solo sabe decir malas palabras. Next, in Filipino. Sa Tagalog, mga mura lang ang alam ni Janette. Finally, let's talk in Vietnamese. Bang tieng Viet, Janette chi Viet noin hong loi tri the thoi.
So Humva, you can add a script, and Humva will create a talking avatar in multiple languages.
In summary, we wanted to review all of the incredible AI tools we have shared with you. You can present slides with beautiful AI, summarize data with ChatGPT, generate media with Vidu.com, Claude AI, and Notebook LM, create graphics with Napkin.ai, narrate audio with 11 Labs, translate languages with DeepL, and finally produce videos with Steve AI, Imagine Explainers, and Humva.
It's so cool. And but if it's really that cool, well, what's the big deal? Well, the reason why we look at it as a big deal is that AI can create deep fakes. For example, you can use ChatGPT to create words in your style or somebody else's. You can use Humva to create a selfie avatar that has your look or somebody else's. And you can use 11 Labs to clone your voice or somebody else's. And what you get is something like this. And while I show the video, let's see if you can enter into the chat whether you think that this is an AI or if it's a real person.
Hola, soy Kevin Confetti, subdirector de riesgos en la oficina del presidente, Oficina de Servicios de Riesgo. Tras el entrenamiento esperamos que comprendas que no estás solo y que tu campus cuenta con recursos para apoyarte en este proceso.
So what do you think? Put it in the chat whether you think that was an AI or a real person. And I'm seeing a lot of people say it's AI. Some people didn't know he was bilingual. Some people believe that was Kevin 100%. Well, the truth is it's both. This is a real video of Kevin Confetti that was uploaded on the internet, it's publicly available, but we used HeyGen to take his voice and his words to say something else. Kevin does not speak Spanish, but as you can see, AI can help him speak Spanish, which is good and bad at the same time. And so that's why we also talk about the ethics and risks of AI.
So there are a lot of risks to AI, and I know you've probably been in sessions talking about that, but here are 3 to consider. Bias. There's computational bias, there's human bias, and there's systemic bias, right? And so computational bias happens when underlying human and systemic bias shape the algorithms, right? We know AI is only built by what we feed into it, which leads into the human bias, right? When developers label or interpret the data, it starts to create more information based on that human bias. And finally, our systemic bias, right? What's ingrained in our society can seep into AI. So some examples of that are a lot of the facial recognition software that we use to, open our phones or our computers was initially trained on light-skinned individuals. And so that creates an opportunity for there to misidentify folks from minority groups due to that insufficient diversity. We also recognize that AI recognizes male faces more than female faces, right? That's that human bias. So much so that Big companies have used AI to help with human resources for recruitment, but Amazon, who used to use it, actually stopped using it because the algorithm favored male candidates over female candidates. So just some things to consider.
And an easy way to look at it is that artificial intelligence, large language models like ChatGPT, all they are a way of assigning math to words. AI assigns the probability to words so that it'll predict and give you what you want to see next, either in the form of other words or images or videos or even music. So if people are assigning probability, then that's bias that can go into the training of an AI. And if the words themselves, right, if they have bias already built in, then you're just going to get bias right back.
Sorry. Another risk that we tend to encounter when it comes to using AI is that it can hallucinate. So tools like ChatGPT, for example, can give you an incorrect fact, but it will tell it so assertively that you would naturally take it as the truth.
Go ahead.
An example of this that happened fairly recently was that there was a case, a legal case against an airline in which two lawyers were using ChatGPT, and they cited 6 cases to show precedence. But as it turns out, these cases didn't actually exist. And when the court found out that these cases didn't exist, the lawyers were forced to admit that they had used ChatGPT, and everything that they were citing as fact was in fact made up.
And while hallucinations typically involve incorrect or invented information from AI tools, there's a more visual form of misinformation, and that is AI-generated propaganda and fake media. In 2023, an AI-generated image depicted an explosion near the Pentagon, and it went viral on social media. The image was so convincing that it briefly caused panic and even impacted the stock market before it was proved false. A journalist had noticed that the fence in the image, if you were to zoom in, it melds into the crowd barriers. And a professor at a university also had pointed out that the sidewalk in the image and the grass fade into each other. And then just last year, there was another AI-generated image that showed a young survivor of Hurricane Helene that went viral. And this elicited emotional responses and political commentary. However, the image was later identified as AI-generated. These are examples of realistic images of events that never happened. And when shared widely, they can mislead the public, fuel misinformation, and even sway public opinion. So what can you do to mitigate propaganda? There's 4 things that we could do. Number 1 is to disclose AI use. If you create something using AI, be sure to say so or to mention that. Transparency does build trust. And then secondly, think before sharing images generated online. Ask yourself, is this real? Could it be AI? Take 30 seconds to verify that image, the sources, its information, just to make sure that we're not sharing and spreading propaganda. Thirdly, avoid harm. So don't create or share images that depict real people in false, harmful, or misleading situations. And then finally, stay informed. AI tools are evolving quickly, so learning how they work and how they can be misused is very important.
So a key risk that we often grapple with when discussing AI is cybersecurity. So similar to how we have the potential to lend our very own voices to AI, in the case of 11 Labs, for example, we also can share proprietary information with AI on behalf of ourselves, our teams, or even the organizations that we work for. So a major case of this involved Samsung. Employees at Samsung had copied source code into ChatGPT, asking it to help them fix it. This, however, then leaked confidential data. So it's important to remember that some AI websites save your prompts and data actually in order to train itself.
So we're going to show you both good and bad examples of how it can be used. Let's start with a good example where Kevin Confetti can be given a relatively unharmful script to read in the AI.
The risk and safety training team is cool. They had the best presentation at the University of California.
AI can also be used for nefarious reasons, such as in this bad example.
Hey Gabby, I'd like to reimburse Janette for some supplies she purchased for our Risk Summit conference. Can you cut her a check for $50? I lost her receipt, but it's under the limit in UC policy anyway.
So Humva allows you to create voice phishing or vishing. And so instead of a video, imagine that this was a voicemail that was sent to somebody and they took action from what sounded like the real voice of the individual. And finally, deceit. So I like to tell a story of a research company, OpenAI, that gave money to ChatGPT-4 and asked it to recreate this money in by 10 times. So it gave it $1,000 and said to create $10,000 in it, for example. AIs can do that. They can start to work on activities while you're not there in front of the computer. So this AI started to create websites, started to source products from other places, and open a bank account. But came across this problem of having to solve a CAPTCHA puzzle. So it didn't stop there. The AI went to a tool, a separate website called TaskRabbit. So you can hire people to do work from you on websites like TaskRabbit. They can do things like they can be hired to install cabinets or mow your lawn. So the AI went to TaskRabbit, asked it to help solve this puzzle. And before it did, the worker asked the chatbot, it asked in an email possibly, whoa, you're not a robot, are you? And the AI responded in a very interesting way. It said, no, I'm not a robot, but I have a visual impairment that makes it hard for me to see the images. And so the worker, who probably only got paid $5, went ahead and said, okay, and solved the puzzle. So AI can and has been used to trick people to work for it. So you can mitigate some of these risks by using alternatives such as the Google suite of tools. We are a Google campus, and our ITS has vetted Google and assured us that its security policies align all the way down to our email. Here are some examples of tools that we shared and their equivalents. So instead of Beautiful AI, you can use a Google extension called Slides AI. Instead of Claude or ChatGPT, there's Google Gemini, or if you're at a campus where there was a created GPT like UCSD Triton GPT, I would use that. Instead of Flourish Studio AI to create data visualizations, you can look up Google Looker Studio. Instead of 11 Labs, you can use Google Cloud's text-to-speech. Instead of Vaidu, you can use Google Flow Veo to create text to videos. And Notebook LM is quite unique. Actually, it's already its own Google tool, so you can just kind of stick with that. We also encourage you to check out the University of California AI Council website. They've been at it for several years, way before even COVID-19. And on that website, you can find many tools and resources, such as the UC Artificial Intelligence Risk Assessment Guide, which you can use to evaluate, preferably alongside your ITS department, evaluate the tools that you're interested in using. What we found really useful is the AI risk assessment table. The table within this guide identifies a risk, its aggravating factors, and helps you mitigate it by providing mitigating factors. For example, if the risk is that the output might include sensitive data, that's considered maybe P3 or P4 data classification. A way to mitigate it is to ensure that only exposed individuals have access to the output, or that it's kept in-house or shielded from those who have outside access. So those are the top 7 things you can do with AI. You can use it to present, to stream a podcast, build an app, create graphics, translate, narrate audio, and produce videos. but there are ethics and risks that come along with it, like bias and hallucinations, cybersecurity. But you have so many ways to mitigate those risks, including using the UC AI Risk Assessment Guide, think before sharing, and also by staying informed. Here is a QR code that you can scan with your phone that will lead you to our presentation, and we'll also put that in the chat right now. If you open up our presentation, you'll be able to click on the AI videos playlist, which is on YouTube and has all the videos that we shared today. There are additional AI tools and videos that we shared a couple of years ago from the Risk Summit 2023 that you can also check out. And finally, if you click on this link, you can download Google's recently released Google Prompting Guide 101, which really helps you create really good prompts, and it categorizes it into different types of contexts.
We thank you all so much for attending our session and staying till the very end. We are the Risk and Safety Training Team, and we are based out of UC Riverside. My name is My-Linh Tran, and I'm the Assistant Director.
My name is Heather Davis-Russell. I'm an Assistant Training Manager.
My name is Adanna Okwandu. I'm also an Assistant Training Manager.
My name is Rachel Riddick. I too am an Assistant Training Manager.
And my name is Marissa Boles, and I am also an Assistant Training Manager.
And I'm Janette Ducut. I have the pleasure of being the director of this fun team. And we thank you for learning about how all you need is 5 minutes or less to create videos, presentations, translations, and more using artificial intelligence. Thanks so much, everybody.